It is the Lowdown. It's all brought to you by Pickdawgz. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button. That helps us out. And if you click the notification button, it will let you know anytime one of these videos gets posted. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying this. We're going to keep this thing rolling all the way through football season. I do have to say, I don't like doing the day after you just get absolutely murdered, and I got destroyed on Monday. Like nothing went right. And for somebody that puts in as much time as I do, those days just kill me, man. It makes me so angry looking at, I've said this before on the program, you're probably going to hear me repeat it a couple times. There's nothing worse in baseball than handicapping a game and you watch the first at bat and realize that the pitcher doesn't have it. Just can't find the strike zone, falling behind on hitters, getting into hitters counts and things like that. And that was it with the Cubs game on Monday. What else do we have? The Padres game, I went on the morning show and I talked about two things. How much I love the Padres in their game against Kyle Bradish. So I was half right. I thought Kyle Bradish would struggle. He only pitched 4 innings. He put a lot of guys on base. Had a couple of guys get caught stealing a double play here that kind of got him out of a jam. And I said I loved his under 4.5 K prop. And sure enough, he pitches 4 innings. He strikes out 2 in the third. And then he strikes out another one in the fourth to get him to 5, and it goes over. And then right before the game starts, there's nothing worse than watching your pitcher struggle. But also when you put in a bet and then find out the best player just got scratched before the game, as Tatis did, and it was frustrating. But it's neither here nor there. It's just a bad day. I feel like I do fairly well with moving past these and trying to get back on track, but you just don't want to turn it into a losing streak. Those are the ones that can really mess up your numbers. But that being said, I do want to tell people, make sure you're checking out, if you're a high roller, if you're a whale, you like to bet big, text Conn or text Inner Circle to my Concrete Inner Circle. That's the number that's sitting over here. You can text that number and find out the information on it. As I said, it's pricey, guys, so it's more for some of the high rollers out there, but I'd love for you guys to check it out. I put a lot of work into this stuff as well. It's a rating system, all kinds of things. I mean, I'm not trying to be salesy here, but if you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely hit me up. It's going to be great for football season. I'm already looking forward to this slate. I think I'm going to have my NFL plays up early this week, so if anybody wants to grab them on the premium side, there's a lot to like, and I think there's some lines that are way off, so I'm excited about this in week 1. And as I've always said, there's always an overreaction to week 1 leading into week 2. That's in college football, so I'm the full week 1 leading into this week coming up. One of the things I know I'm going to be on, I'm going to be on Baylor this week against SMU. Baylor had a terrible Friday night game. SMU played a cupcake and blew them out. And SMU's not very good this year. So I like this Baylor spot as SMU's ranked, but they're not, I think after this week, they won't be ranked the rest of the year. So I like Baylor plus those points, but just a little something there to throw out. But I want to get into these baseball games, talk a little bit about that. But before I do, I had UNC on Monday night, and what a bitch that was, is right down the field, score a touchdown, you're feeling great, and then can't get anything else done. For whatever reason, Bill Belichick's girlfriend was walking up and down the sideline. I don't think I've ever seen somebody on the sideline of a football game with a purse. Just walking up and down the sideline with her purse on. He's getting ready to go out and talk to somebody, and she's tapping him on the shoulder. What a hot mess that thing is. And they just got annihilated. And I'm telling you, they're not a good team. It just tells me that UNC is terrible. They had 2 defensive touchdowns, and just what an ugly night. Dead wrong on that. Baseball was not kind, and that college football game wasn't kind. And don't forget this week, Thursday night football in the NFL. There's no college games that night. There are a handful of games on Friday night. So we'll talk about those when we get closer to that date. Let's get into these baseball games. There's a lot to talk about. And I started off with, there are 3 games with high wins. 2 of them, one of them is blowing out, which is the White Sox and the Twins. I did not pick that game to break down. One of them is blowing in, which is 11 miles an hour blowing in. That's Mets and Tigers. And the other one is the Braves and Cubs. Wind is out to right. It's almost 10 miles an hour. But the wind changes during the game. It's a little left to right. But still, we'll get into all that. I'm going to talk about 2 of those games. I won't be talking about the White Sox and Twins. Didn't want to get into that pitching matchup. I thought these were more interesting. So let's start it off with one of the best win spots of the day. It's the Mets at the Tigers. Wind's blowing in at 11 miles an hour. That's a huge bump to pitchers. Excuse me, 75 degrees. I can't wait to get these stitches out of my throat. 75 degrees. We have Clay Holmes and Casey Mize. They're two solid pitchers. I don't think there's anything spectacular about them. Casey Mize, a former top pick that they were waiting to kind of pan out, and this year he's done a fairly good job. I think both of these guys can limit damage. With the fact that the wind is blowing in, that's going to help negate some of the home run power, especially that the Mets have. Both of these teams, I think the Mets bullpen has not pitched great here recently, but I do think they're better than how they've looked. Excuse me. And with Detroit, I love their bullpen. I just think they got a lot of live arms out there. I think the under is an excellent play here. That's where I would lean. Sorry, I'm having one of those fits where it sucks when you're doing a show by yourself and you can't stop coughing. You got that little tickle. So you'll hear me pause a couple times. My apologies. Let's move on to the next game. It's the Orioles at the Padres. An interesting thing here, Cade Povich versus Nestor Cortez. It's 85 degrees. Wind's not much of a help. It's 8 miles an hour blowing left to right. If you notice that it switches on game day, definitely something I would peek at. But the one thing I know about Cade Povich is he sucks on the road. He's got a 5-run ERA and a whip around 1.5. Same thing for Nestor Cortez, who found a home with the Padres. The one thing I would say is that the Orioles haven't hit lefties until I told you we had a great spot against Robbie Ray, and then neither pitcher could get outs in that game. What a terrible, I don't even want to talk about that one. But I would lean towards the over here. I think Cade Povich can get beat up. I do think the Orioles scratch out some runs against Cortez, even though he's a lefty, and I know they've made lefties look great. He's still not very good. These guys put too many guys on base, and I think there's too much power on both of these teams to not run into one or have a big inning. So I would lean towards the over here between the Padres and the Orioles. Let's move on to Seattle at Tampa Bay. This is one that we've talked about. We talked about it yesterday. It was a great pitching matchup, and then I saw the numbers as everyone was betting the under in that game. We'll have to see how it plays out. None of the games have happened as I'm recording this on Tuesday. But this is another spot where you get what I think is a solid pitching matchup. George Kirby, I don't have to explain him to anybody. Adrian Hauser's numbers are a little weird. And as I've said this before, I was joking about Adrian Hauser loving ground balls more than Diddy loves lube. Well, I think I said that on the morning show. But he's the most extreme ground ball pitcher in all of baseball. And when you look at his numbers, he's got a nice ERA. He's been getting his soft contact. Seattle, there's a lot of swings and misses. A lot of these guys are fly ball hitters. The wind is blowing out at 5 miles an hour, and it's 85 degrees there. So it's like not a ton of help, but it's hot. I'm going to lean towards the under here. Kirby's had some games this year where he's just gotten beaten up, and overall his numbers still look good. I think he's solid enough to keep this Tampa Bay lineup at bay. They have a lot of right-handed power. I'd be worrying about Brandon Lau if I'm him and working around that guy unless he's swinging and missing. But this is a spot, too, where I think the under is good. And Adrian Hauser, yeah, he can put guys on base, but the one thing about these extreme ground ball pitchers is they can get out of big innings quick by just getting that soft contact and the team able to turn a double play. So that's why I'm going to lean towards the under here. I think it's a very, very interesting play. I may even be on it as a play of mine come tomorrow, but I just want to see what the numbers are. Sorry, now I got something in my eye. I can't catch a break. Now I'm yawning. I got a tickle in my throat. What the hell's going on with me today? It has been a strange day for me, to say the least. A couple other things to get to as we're doing college football. As I've said, on Saturdays or Fridays leading into Saturdays, I will have 4 college football games I talk about. Saturdays leading into Sundays, I'll have 4 NFL games I talk about. And I'll try to talk about the standalone games, even if I'm not giving a play out on it, just telling you what I see. As much as, we're selling picks over on the premium side, I still like giving out information, whether it's my algorithm that's spitting out something. It was funny on the morning show yesterday. I didn't get anything right, but I told him Ketel Marte was my number 1 hitter, and he went yard last night. Last night. And it's kind of funny. I wish I didn't get to watch the morning show today. I don't know if Ron swung by, but I wish I got to see the interaction between Jay and Ron. Those guys were fighting all day. It's a lot of fun working with these guys. So as much as I like doing the solo pod because I can do it whenever I want, it is fun to banter back and forth with those guys. And when Ron's on the show with me on the bottom, you have Ron Jeremy, which is just fantastic. And Jay got to find out who Ron Jeremy was, which I don't know that he'll be looking up any of his stuff. Lastly, let's get to my free play. It's the Braves and the Cubs. And this was we had 3 games with wind. This is the one where the wind is a little weird. It's out to right to start the game, but then it goes a little left to right. So depending on the direction, this could be fantastic and a huge bump if it stays that way, or if they're able to even get 4 or 5 innings in, because it's not supposed to change. The way I was looking at it is hour number 3, it changes more to left to right. But again, we'll have to wait on game day to see what it says. If we're getting some directional wind here, if it's blowing out, it's a huge bump. If it's blowing across, not as much of a bump. But it's still 11-mile-an-hour winds or 10-mile-an-hour winds, which can cause problems in just trying to field the ball. So we've seen that happen as well. And on top of it, we get Bryce Elder, who stinks. I'm sorry. I've tried to give that a turn there and say, oh, maybe he turns a corner. He's had a couple big K games. But, man, he just hits way too many bats. And we have Cade Horton, who I think is good. But I do think this Braves team can score off of him. My free play is going to be on the over in the Braves and Cubs. And I do think it's a really good spot to attack. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on this play come tomorrow. I do want to make sure the wind is going at least out for a bit and not left to right, because that would be a huge bump to the lefty bats. And I think those guys can go off on both sides. So not really concerned about it. You lift the ball, it's gone at Wrigley. So, and again, it wasn't kind to me on Monday. I was on the Wrigley under as my weather play again on Tuesday. I was on the Astros and Yankees to go under. Through some of my research, I saw that Max Fried had only faced the Astros 3 times, and he only has 10 career strikeouts against them in 3 games. So looking at his strikeout prop was 5.5, and my model had him at 4.5. So it looked like a hammer time play to me. So I went all in on that. I love that play. Max Fried's under strikeouts. And on the flip side, I bet Framber Valdez over strikeouts, which was at 5.5, being a guy that typically gets a ton of ground balls. Both of these guys are ground ball guys. I was on the under in that game. But I've said this before, once Framber kind of mixed in a cutter, he gets more strikeouts. And if you've watched this Yankees lineup, they are swing and miss all the way through. One of the other things I found was Michael Lorenzen against the Angels. His K prop, according to my algorithm, was about a full strikeout off. And they liked the over. And then all of a sudden I was looking at the matchup. They're playing the Angels, and the Angels strike out more than any team in baseball. So they really liked, or at least my algorithm really liked, Michael Lorenzen over Ks. But I've been doing that with prop bets. Sometimes I'll throw some free prop bets in with my play, and I did that with my Astros under. I threw in both of those guys in the write-up. The other game I was on was the Dodgers over, as liking the bats here and hating the pitching. I've said this before. I love Clayton Kershaw, but this is not the same Clayton Kershaw we've seen before. He's hitting a lot of bats. He's weathering some storms there on the base paths. I mean, he's been fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you he's bad, but I don't fear him at all in betting it over. And I think the Pirates at home can scratch out some runs. And I definitely think the Dodgers are going to score against the crappy pitching we're going to see from the Pittsburgh Pirates. That being said, guys, appreciate you watching this. I know this has been a little bit quicker than usual. You can check out all the premium plays we have over at Pickdawgz. Lots of great handicappers. Hate the fact that I was on a downswing after a great Sunday. I stunk up the joint on Monday after having a phenomenal Sunday. And then here we go, right back at it. I got a triple play up, and we'll see how baseball goes for me. But I'm so excited for week 1 of the NFL season. I feel like I found so many just great spots that the public is dead wrong on. And I can't wait to attack those. So you guys can check those out at the premium plays as well. Some of those will be up today. Some of them are already up. So check it out for yourself. See what you like. See what you want to get. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. And as I say, always, I will come back in the morning and post the weather algorithm results once I run it on the day of. So do appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to go rest my voice. But we will be back tomorrow.